Chapter 8 City of Mesto, Charleminos' House. Ahmad opens his eyes to a well-kept guest room. Sunlight beats down on his face, and Ahmad groans as he rises to a dark red room with handcrafted wood furnishings. He stands up and walks across the room holding his head, his violet hair in a half bun that hangs carelessly behind him. The old master stops at a dresser with a few bottles of water on it and a folded note next to it. "Drink up," it says. Ahmad staggers into a chair and sips the first bottle. "Hi, master." Amalthea pops her head into the room. "I have some breakfast for you." Amalthea's voice rings loudly in Ahmad's head. She leaves momentarily, and Ahmad is left to his thoughts. Ahmad, here's your breakfast. I reheated it for you." Normally, Amalthea's presence is comforting, but her voice is worsening his migraine. "Thank you, Amalthea," he says, just above a whisper as she sets the breakfast on the dresser. "Huh?" Amalthea asks, having never drank or experienced a hungover person before. "I can't hear you." Ahmad stops Amalthea by lightly holding her shoulders in place. "Please, stop yelling." She tries to speak, but he holds up his pointer finger, then brings it to his mouth in a hushing manner. "Weren't you going to explore the city today?" he says, still just above a whisper. "Well, you were collapsed at the guest room door this morning, so I moved you to the bed," Amalthea says in a quieter tone. "I just wanted to be sure you were okay." She smiles warmly at him, then gives him a concerned look. "You are okay, right?" "I'm fine, Amalthea, and thank you for your concern." He lets out a sigh as he shifts himself back into the chair and massages his temples. "Also, sorry, but you smell, so maybe a bath before you meet up with Charleminos." Amalthea's words make Ahmad jump. "The palace!" he exclaims. "It's okay, master. You still have a few hours before Charleminos returns." She puts her hands behind her back, trying not to laugh as she speaks. "He left early and set up the appointment while you were still out cold." "What happened, by the way?" "Charleminos is a good friend, is what happened. Anyways, I'm awake, so please, child." He grabs her hand, almost in desperation. "Go wait downstairs." Initially, Amalthea frowns, but then laughs slightly at his indirect plea to be alone. She then hugs him around his neck, and as Amalthea walks out, she says in a projected voice, "Bye," then rushes out. It's noon, and Master Amalthea now stands with her master on the edge of the city, watching Element soldiers secure anchors for the main structure. The last earthquake to hit almost ended with the main section of Mesto falling into the ocean. Lord Grandearth, along with a couple thousand other creatures of rock, held the city in place as the ground around it crumbled. The city is now entirely floating over the ocean. A few simple land bridges have already been made. They later meet up with Charleminos for their appointment with the Grand Elementals. Silently, they walk through the crowds of people and creatures. The Palace of Grand Elementals is on a large plateau overlooking the city. The palace itself is massive in scope with multiple levels. An awning at the front of the building is supported by columns. One level high above ground is a ring of windows that were once used to watch over the city. The rectangular roof of the building is topped near the front with a pointed rotunda. As if the elevated position was not enough to make it noticeable from anywhere in the main section of the city, it is also the only uncolored building, instead remaining solid white. Up the pathway they go, along with the other important dignitaries up the palace steps. "Thank you again for setting this up, Charleminos." Ahmad smiles at him as he starts up the steps. Charleminos puts his hands on his hips and blushes whimsically. "I'll wait out here until you are finished." Ahmad and Amalthea continue up the stairs into the marble-white building. Inside, the walls are complemented with an outstanding assortment of cloths, creating an area of comfort and elegance not seen elsewhere. The elementals range from vaguely human to completely abstract, often resembling various pieces of armor that float in the air. The armor is flawless and covered with trim, which seems to be intricately crafted by angels. The last time Ahmad was here, he was but a mere apprentice. His master brought him here decades ago. He approaches the one known as Grandearth, Lord of Rock. "Excuse me," Ahmad says, projecting his voice. The enormous 15-foot-tall creature turns to him. His bulky, dark beige armor is lined with silver trim. He consists of what looks like an eyeless helmet, a small, heavy torso, large shoulder guards, and large gauntlets with metal fingers. He is a hulking creature but speaks as if a common man. He lifts his hands to the side as he proudly greets Ahmad. Hello, enchanters. I want to offer my condolences on the recent disaster at your temple. He places his hands on his chest and nods to the mage. Ahmad bows slightly at the waist and head to Grand Earth. Instinctively, he looks at his apprentice, who is still staring at the elemental. He snaps his finger in front of her, and she looks at his hand, which is now pointing at the floor. A quick look of shock covers her face, then dissolves as she curtsies to Grand Earth, who laughs quietly at the situation. As they rise, Ahmad questions the Lord. Thank you, but how did you know? Few important things happen without my notice, young master. Grand Earth replies, as if begging to be asked that question. By the way, if you are here seeking refuge for your people, you are always welcome in Mesto. Ahmad squints and tilts his head. He looks at Amalthea, who is just as confused as he is. Deciding to ignore the statement, he continues. So, who caused it? Grand Earth lowers his arms and answers sarcastically. Isn't that the question of the day? He laughs. We have sent a party to Loria of the Elven District. It is possible that there are greater forces at work, friend. He turns towards the large entrance, through which you can easily see a good section of the city. If so, perhaps the elves can shed light on the matter. A bright but silent flash of light streams over the main city and hits the palace, causing an explosion. Dust hides the building as the sound of crumbling rock can be heard. Debris and chunks of the building arc into the sky in all directions. Ahmad stands up slowly and calls his purple orb staff to his hand. He coughs from the smoke and dust. Are you okay, Enchanter? Grand Earth asks calmly, standing next to him as if nothing happened. The Lord has his vision focused on the debris levitating over him. He then looks to the side as the debris hovers to the ground. Amalthea! Ahmad looks in her direction as the young master shields her face. Green eyes poke out from behind her forearms and bear witness to a terrifying sight above. Ahmad looks up to the sky with her at the massive organized group of robots hovering over the city, better known as Beltham. These robots are considered a separate form of life not created by mortal hands. They move in large formations, with higher-tier bots controlling lower-tier bots. All around the city, whether on mainland or not, music stops, chatter stops, and the deafening silence of fear takes hold.